Dandy's World Fan. Shout out for the person made this theory on Pinterest. The room was lightly decorated. A shelf there, a desk with a lamp, an old train, and lifted bed with a TV, and window nearby it. Dial moved aside so they can explore. Leah moved her way to the window, stared out as Dial walked Savi to the bed. Why do you have windows underground? Leah said with a smile. It's so that I can see the trains, Dial said while walking to ladder that leads to the bed. I mean, I do control transportation around GardenView, Dial said in a proud tone. Leah head whipped back like owl, you were made just to run the trains. That's surprising for your species, never seen daylight. Dial turned with a straight face at her statement. Leah stammered and went silent. Continue, Dial said, leaning on the rail, causing Leah to go back into her tangent about amazing this place is. You are a Toon who controls the trains. Is it so that Toons can go in and out? Leah asked. Dial chuckled. To get supplies to GardenView, the Toons must eat. All species need to, Dial answered, causing Leah to ask another question. I never saw you in the show, and I remember watching every single episode. Were you from the Saws? Dial looked away and sighed sadly. I never saw meant to be in the show. Leah, confused, asked again. Why would they make a Toon when they don't appear in the show? Wouldn't there be a shortage of ichor? Isn't that why some Toons are shorter, like how Dandy was made short to save ichor? Dial climbed down the ladder and said, I was an experiment to make sure the ichor worked. I was made before even Dandy himself was ever made. Savi finally spoke up. What? Dial sighed. Let me explain. When Delilah and Arthur, the creators of the Toons, GardenView that Leah wasn't allowed to go to and the show that Leah watched instead. Dial smirked while saying, Hey, said Leah. Silence. Lesbian. Flashback backstory. When Arthur created GardenView, he wanted to make the characters real, not by costumes or mascots. No, he wanted to make real characters as a species itself. But it was impossible for him to do alone, so he got a scientist named Delilah Keene. Leah interrupted. She was the scientist of the project. Leah continued. Dial smiled. You've done your homework. Makes sense for Russo's daughter. Leah leaned back on the desk. So he did know. After a time, I don't know the distance, they made ichor, but they couldn't just assume it would work. They had to make a test experiment, which was Dial Timesley was made. I was slightly rushed, but not as much the others' Toons. Dial blinked. After all the Toons meant for the show was created, they didn't even know how. Put me down. Savi sat up at the words put down. They made me work the train that leads it down. I worked in the back and the shadows. I learned to love trains, how they work, the schedules of the trains. I love time. I love how clock shows represent time. I would ask so many questions. I always did. Dial's smile widened. About the train, about why the shorthand means hour and long means minute, about why no one couldn't go outside. I even asked about why Elle wasn't a part the show. Why I couldn't talk to the kids. Dial then looked down and balled up his fist. Until GardenView closed. I thought we could be free, but I was locked in that room in the deepest part of GardenView. It was dark except for a dim light. I couldn't remember how long I was there. Dial looked up and rolled his eyes. And for what? Because I wasn't a part of the show. I did all the work, and I still. Dial inhaled and exhaled before continuing. I thought that all the Toons left without me, but as long they were outside, then that's all that mattered. Until I found the elevator open, I started to bang on the and beg for them to help me, and then I saw the star of show. He was going through GardenView to find food, and it has been a month since it closed. Dial started to pace. So I hatched a deal. If he let me out, then I would make sure him and his friends would have never have to worry about food again. He stopped in his traces. And it's been like this for years now. Leah and Savi were both shocked. Oh. That's a lot. Savi stammered out. Indeed. Dial nodded. So about that letter your father gave you? Dial said casually. Leah was shocked, locked for a few extra seconds before saying oh yeah. And pulling and getting the letter out her backpack. End of flashback. Austin's letter. Author's note. Bro, I just wrote a whole short story notes app. And I still have motivation to write. I had write block. until I started getting closer to the part I needed to write. Also, I just winged it with the lore. I based it off a Pinterest theory I saw. I'm writing in a different note as we speak, but it's gonna be in the same chapter. This is gonna be the longest chapter. One feel IDK the word count yet. Thanks for reading this long author's note. Leah's unfolded the letter and cleared her throat and began to read. It said, Dear Leah, the reason why I'm not your using nickname because this serious. I could show this to you when I died, and you were an adult. I'm glad I didn't die when you were young like your mother. You know how I used to work for GardenView. The reason why I never letted you to GardenView were 3 reasons ranked for how much it made not want to take you. The first one was the fact I couldn't afford to take even though I was an employee. The second reason is shrimpo. And the last because I had a feeling it wasn't going to last and that I'm pretty they didn't get persimmon to make a species made from a black liquid. Leah stared at the last reason after she read it aloud, and keep reading it. But I heard that they're going to destroy the building, and they refuse to see if there's living tunes inside. Leah's heart sank as she kept reading, trying not to cry. So I need you check on Astro and the others, get Astro out of there and possible Dandy if you can, but Astro is top priority. And make sure to get samples of ichor, a black blood to research, since I know how much you loved biology. Leah's throat began to sting, and she started to tear up as her vision went blurry. Hey! Don't you dare cry. I know you are, so don't lie. Haha. Also, I don't know what's in there, but if I become a ghost then I'll check what's there. Talk to you with your old algae board from your emo phase. Leah smiled. Dad knew how to make her smile even in death. Always cold until she was there. P.S. You don't have to go. But I know you're dumb enough to. Signed, Papa from Heaven.